Hi guys, it's me, Kat, Mrs. Handy Are You? Hope you're doing really well. Today is February 10th, day before the Super Bowl, and I've been getting in decoding that Super Bowl is the day it hits the fan, right? Think about why I'm talking a little quiet because I'm babysitting, and I'm sorry, and if you hear noises, it's the monitor making noise, so sorry about the noise. So anyway, I can't believe it, but I really think this time, I mean, I've been wrong so many times, right? But I think it's hitting the fan at the Super Bowl, and maybe even outside of the Super Bowl in different cities, but at least I think it's the Super Bowl. And anyway, I've got a lot of reasons why. I mean, I've got all these reasons why. See all these? That's why I think it is the Super Bowl. I even had it in my New Hampshire Magazine. I'm not sure if it's because they know I read this cover to cover or not quite, but you know, I don't know. But look at this article. Well, first of all, okay, I'm excited. Can you tell? There's this guy in this magazine. He's a contributor, and he was, I'll tell you what it says. Former assistant editor Caleb Jagoda. It's always a weird name, right? Or double letters or something. Jagoda with a J wrote this month's feature story about his adventures at Wolfborough's in New Hampshire annual beverage craft beer ice fest. They're supposed to have it on Lake Winnipesaukee. This is the magazine if you're interested. The January-February issue. And okay, so did he look funny? Did that guy? Okay, did I even show you? I don't know. I was reading it, but see that guy and that with the holding up the peace sign in the hat. He's got a red shirt on. Okay, he's one of our people. If it's not, I don't know. Anyway, I've got pages on this article, but just for fun, I want to show you what I marked up. Here, look at this. There's 4 pages. Can you see this? I have there's paper in front of my screen, so I can't quite see it all. But it's everything is comms. Everything in this article. It's amazing. I put it on Telegram, and look for me at this point under Mrs. Handy Are You, and then I put my name with it. So it's the right one is Mrs. Handy Are You, Kat Michaud, Michaud. And I don't have control over the one that says chit chat, so I can't like pin things or anything like that. I can on the one with my name. So here, look, there's even more. See, I know I'm holding it up weird, but I hope you could see some of it. But you can find it on Telegram. You can find it on probably the last thing I posted. I'm not sure. And look at this, you guys. It is so obvious. I wouldn't have marked it all up. I wouldn't have marked it all up if it wasn't important. Anyway, it's just amazing. And remember when Q said that the Super Bowl would look like a puppy bowl? I can't find Q posts anymore. I usually look at qposts.online. It's not there. So I don't know if they've taken them all off and we're just on our own or what. But I just wanted to verify it. But I know that one. I know that one, but I couldn't think of the beginning of the post. Like, did he say, or she, we will make the Super Bowl look like a puppy bowl? But all I could remember is the last part. You know, make the Super Bowl look like a puppy bowl. Okay, so look at this. Look at this. Can you see this? Yeah, you can see it right here. This is an ad from YouTube Prime Time. See, I don't know if can you see the top? So anyway, I just did a screenshot and then a copy. And it says Puppy Bowl right there. And guess when it's on? Guess when it's on? It's on the same day as the Super Bowl. And it says February 11th, 2024. and then it says get max to the fifth power. Now I didn't decode get max to the fifth power or get max 5. I didn't do that, but that is amazing. You know, that is just amazing. President Trump had a victory speech in Las Vegas, and on RSBN. I'm excited. I'm sorry, and it was full of static jump skips. It was honestly, I couldn't even hear a word that came out clearly except one word. Okay, one word, and it was Catholics. You know, plural Catholics. So obviously this is on purpose. You think he would have let a video go out, or anybody let a video go out that wasn't important? They're always important. And Catholics equals hidden codes, which is obvious. A fun one just for me and Tom, it equals Tomcat, like Tomcat, you know, like a Randy kind of cat. Tom numbers, I mean, in case you're new. Okay, so that was in Jewish gematria 284, and gematria is A equals 1 through Z equals 26. I use gematrix.org. There's many ways of doing this, but that's what I've been doing. Let's see. In Jewish, Catholics is 911 spelled out. Cash chip in hand. Like cash your chip that you have in your hand. It's gambling. We're talking about Vegas again. It equals, it's all a game. Sniper, look up. Because I've been saying for a couple of days now, since Wednesday, I think, that I've figured it out. I mean, like, you guys know I could be wrong, but as far as I feel right now, I figured it out. And that what it's going to look like is people falling from high up from the stands, and they're like gone, you know, they're gone, and it won't be real, you know. Let's see. And we have missing dad, holograph, not hologram, but holograph. It's all a lie. Oxygen, because I've been wondering, is it going to be look like a chemical attack? Is it going to be more than one thing at the same time? BOMBS, you know, the boom. And airdrop matches. Like I was saying about people diving out of the upper part of the stadium. And then in simple gematria, it's 90. I'm still doing Catholics. It equals Golden Gate. Stand by, but it's BYE. Like maybe falling out of stands and goodbye. Maybe that's kind of what it meant. Be prepared. Boom, 2 times. Comfort. Cash crash, meaning the market. Economy. Debt ceiling. All about the economy. The alliance. Antibody. And already somebody has been saying online, I can't remember what article it was, but they called it a super spreader event. That the Superbowl was like, in a negative way, of course, they're talking about the Super Bowl, that it could be a super spreader event. Well, here we have matching Catholics. Remember I said it was the only thing you could hear in this 10-minute. I mean, I listened to it for about 10 minutes, and that's the only word I could understand. And then I kind of stopped, but I know it's important. It just is. So antibody matches, where it could also mean they're not real bodies. It's not a body, right? You can look at these phrases in lots of different ways. Dictator matches. Soviet. I am a twin. Now that's way off topic, but you know, we've got the 2 sets of twins at least. So that was a big deal. That was a really big deal. And, you know, when you see things that are promoted, like watch this next, kind of on your feed, on YouTube feed, that's always a big deal. They've been promoting, like, I was just watching my normal feed, which is certainly not this, okay? And what they showed to put in that was in my YouTube feed was Regis and Kelly, which is a daytime talk show that I used to watch a long time ago. Actually, it was with Kathy Lee, but whatever. And it was Regis and Kelly, and it happened to be September 11th, 2001. And they were on live, so they showed the live coverage of it from doing their show. That's not normally in my feed. You know, that's not. And I've heard someone else, like Matt Geiger, who Tom knows and I know now, who's super nice. I hope you call him. He'll give you a free piece of silver if you call him, but that's not what I'm talking about, really. But he's super nice. I have it on community. Like if you look for my community header, I've got a post that I did about him. Anyway, off topic. So I was looking at Amazon Prime, and I was going to watch something after I did a lot of work. You know, I did hours of this stuff, but then I sat down to watch something like calm, and Carol Burnett was on, and I hadn't noticed her in my, suggested things for Amazon, but I put it on, and it was like not the very first season, but it was the first episode of a season, and she was on with Jim Nabors, and she was supposed to be like a paranoid woman afraid of being attacked, and they were running around and it was all slapstick, and he picked up a pen, and she goes, "Not that pen." Well, the pen had tear gas in it, and he's waving it around, and the tear gas was going everywhere. They're coughing and choking. I mean, and I've been wondering about a chemical attack either at the stadium or maybe over cities. And of course, you know how I'm always telling you it's not real. Don't flip out about it. But that's why I'm here, to tell you not to worry. Just know what's going on. And let's see. And then there was a commercial during it. Excuse me. There was a commercial. It had a genie, and she was in purple, which is Trump, right? And 88 in Gematria. And then near the end of the commercial, it was very fast. It was all a purple cloud around down below, and she said, "Hey, where's my legs?" And that's hysterical, because that's on purpose. Because President Trump talks about Afghan vets, and he says, it was horrible. No arms, no legs. He says that at rallies all the time. No arms, no legs. Anyway, in my New Hampshire Magazine article, they had a joke that this guy wrote. It's all made up, the whole thing. And supposedly they're on a bus. This is all made up. And the bus driver was supposed to be named Phil. Well, Phil Godlewski is Diana and Junior, as far as I can tell. I put a show out about that. A video, I mean. And they were making a joke about Phil the bus driver, and they were going, one guy is going, "What has no arms and no legs?" And it's, something about, and he goes down a hole, and then they all go, "Phil," because of the Punxsutawney Phil, and the woodchuck or groundhog in Pennsylvania, sees his shadow. So they have that thing with the no arms and no legs right in the article, and it's about a beer festival. And then they bring up Phil, the name Phil, like Phil Godlewski. I mean, this is just unreal, this stuff. But President Trump, he sends fundraising texts out to people, and it looks like he's talking to you. He always puts your name in lately, so it's really kind of funny. And it's all coded. I mean, you know that by now. Everything he says is coded, whether it's him doing it or not. Maybe it's Junior, or who knows. So on the 8th, so just a couple days back, the first part of the text, mass participation needed. Mass participation. What happens at a Super Bowl? Remember, they always used to do, conjuring. I don't remember what you call it, but you're part of a whatever. You guys know the name. I'm just, it's escaping me right now. But it's something satanic and bad. But now it won't be. But he's saying mass participation needed, and it also could refer to Boston, Massachusetts, because I've gotten like Seattle, Boston, New York City, and Chicago as names that keep popping up. Then I'm wondering, is that going to look like at the same time the Super Bowl, maybe things happen in other cities, you know, and it's on the news and it's like a big thing, and who knows? And they could blame Hamas, they could blame China, they could blame Russia, you know, who knows what starts World War III? I don't know. So 6 o'clock can be dangerous, okay? That's another key thing in this pile of stuff. That's a Q post. Well, the Super Bowl starts in Las Vegas. Let's see. Well, it comes on the air at least at 6:30. So let's see if I can get this right. So 6:30, but that's 2 hours difference with Mountain Standard Time. So that would be 4:30. So could Q mean, you know, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, but that would be 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm in the Eastern Time zone. So could it be like 8 o'clock near where everybody's watching for the big commercials at halftime? Does something happen then? Let's see. I don't know. Oh, and then there was an article. I've read lots of articles about stuff going on. There's an article. The stadium is nicknamed Allegiant Stadium, where it will be played, is nicknamed by the owner of the stadium, the Death Star. So you have death right in there in their nickname. Let's see. Mark Davis is the owner. I didn't try to code his name, and he's referring to the Star Wars battle station as a place where opponents' dreams, and now he's got the quotations in the article, where opponents' dreams came to die. I mean, right there you have a heads up as to what's going to happen. Let's see. And they kept, in this article and in other articles I've noticed, they keep highlighting words or in quotations or whatever in the blue color that gematrix.org is always in. So if you clicked on it, you would have found out more about it, kind of like Wikipedia does. But maybe they do that in online articles a lot, but I just haven't seen it. But it's interesting because that reminds me of Steely Dan, their song Peg, and saying it will come back to you in the chorus. It will come back to you. And in the song, it says, done up in blueprint blue, sure looks good on you. Well, it's Gematrix. I know it is, because it's all blue. Everything in gematrix.org is blue. Yeah. So Juan mentioned recently on with 107, on with Tom, the last one he's been on since probably, I don't think he'd be on again soon. Well, maybe he would be. But it was about 12 days ago. And he was on Psych. So he was on Psych Club, PSYCH, if you don't know it. And he mentioned zone. He mentioned the word zone. That's like a term in football, end zone and all that. He said, if I could just put a word out there into the public, you know, to kind of get a word out, and that I'd like everybody to know. He even said that instead of just saying something and hope you decode it. He said, if there's one word I'd like to get out there, it's injecticide. And he said that twice. Well, injecticide equals a football team name, and Chicago Bears. So we have Chicago reference. We also have just a plain old football reference. So that was good. Well, you know, depending on your perspective. Then we have New Madrid. It looks like Madrid, but it's New Madrid, and that's a fault line all around the center of the country, like where they're going to be. It equals time clock, grand finale. I mean, it's so many things to do with like a stadium. It equals Browns. There's the Cleveland Browns football team. Announced, applause, SEC test, SEC T-E-S-T, which is a Q part of a Q post. Um, Unabomber. Remember the Unabomber with the hood and the glasses? You know, I won't even get into all that, but Unabomber, bomber is in there, matching that word he wants us to know, injecticide. We Are All Dead matches. Fog of War, 6:10 matches. Now, does that mean maybe 6:10 Mountain Standard Time, Las Vegas time, which could be like 8:10, you know, Eastern time? I don't know, you guys. I don't know. And in Jewish, that was in simple, which was 91. It equals cause confusion. My lungs, it equals my lungs, like a chemical thing. Just like from the Carol Burnett skit that I was just mentioning that popped up, you know, by chance, not. Safe zones matches. They are boring. Because I've also wondered, if, will there be earthquakes around? Because now I have New Madrid fault line, right? I mean, it didn't say fault line, but it said New Madrid. They are boring. Like, people are boring, but it's also can be boring underground where they, you know, how they made the tunnels. And could be the White Hats, the Alliance, whatever, causing earthquakes. Or I wouldn't, you know, they're not going to kill people, but there's good, you know, people would feel it. So anyway, I'm just telling you way too much. So Rob Gronkowski, they call him Gronk. He played with the Patriots, which is my team, for years. He played with Tom Brady. They're good friends. Well, they're also friends of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And you know the 40 days of 4VKM is on. And I'm sure it's Diana that's dressed up like Andrew, the host. You can see that on YouTube, and then you can go back and watch all his posts. You know, they've been on for what, 3 years maybe? Anyway, so they were friends of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And anyway, Rob Gronkowski is going to do try to kick a field goal. Now that wasn't his position. You know, he wasn't a field goal kicker on the Patriots or with the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay. And they're calling it Kick of Destiny 2. Now, I didn't decode that, but anyway, he's not going to be there doing the kick at halftime, but it's probably going to be pre-recorded, I would think, but it's going to be someplace else, another stadium. I'm sorry, lose my voice. Hang on a sec. So, and they're betting on it, so it's a big deal. They've advertised it like crazy with famous people and all the ads, pumping up the excitement. So a lot of people will be watching. I don't know how many millions and millions all over the world. I think I might have read 180 million somewhere, and of course that's 18 for R, you know. But I really think it's 2 9s together equal R, but we won't get into that now. Yeah, and John Cena from WWE was in a ad with Gronk, and he's, you know, so that ties back into like a little loop back into Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So that's really cool. Here we go. Okay. I'm just gonna. I'm too excited, you guys. There's another fundraising text from President Trump. Says, from Trump, I'm addressing the nation. And when he puts a lot of things in all caps. And when you do gematria the way I do it, I learned from Buy the Book on Rumble. They used to be on YouTube. And it's a way ahead channel. It was never monetized. They taught you how to do gematria, just very basic, you know, and then it got more complicated. And it's super fun. I hope you guys try to do it. And if you look for Buy the Book, you have to go back a ways and whatever they have still on there. And there's another one on Rumble called Buy the Book Archive. And I bet if you look at that one and you go back a little ways, you'll see. And what they do is they start showing you like President Trump tweets, and then they'll dissect it. and they'll show you how to look at it, taking all the capitals out of the tweet, doing a phrase, anything in quotes, that's done separately. There's just a lot of cool ways to do it. And you don't have to do them all. You could just do a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, from Trump, because that's a phrase, and that's how By the Book taught us. It equals Tom numbers. Hi, Tom. So that's awesome. That's simple 140. It equals Revelations, child, Trafficking. And that's the Super Bowl is the biggest sporting event where that happens. Hopefully not anymore. And that's been brought to an end. But that's, to me, that's a reference to, if I'm thinking of the Super Bowl, that would make sense. Hocus Pocus, Doomsday Clock, Golden Gate Falls, deadly virus. So we're still getting the virus stuff matching what he's saying. Behind the scenes, the mountain, the ring of fire. And the ring of fire isn't just like the corona around the eclipse. Remember, we're having an upcoming eclipse April 8th with a comet. So if you don't know that, mark it on your calendar, because the white hats aren't going to let that go to waste. They're not. And I think we're going to have night longer, that the eclipse lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts. And everybody's going to have to pray, and it will move. Everything will change. And I seriously think that's what's going to happen. It might be days of an eclipse. Okay. Department of Defense matches from Trump. College football matches from Trump. Cast out fear. In other words, don't worry. Okay, I'm addressing. That's another phrase. I'm addressing. It's 369 in Jewish gematria, and that's Tesla's numbers, and it equals desolation, coming soon. It equals starbase, right? And remember that the Allegiant Stadium where they're playing it is nicknamed the Death Star, which is a starbase, or it's a place like that, it's so cool. I'm addressing, and simple is any day now. The end is near. Like, I think we're hitting it. I really do. Mind-blowing. San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, right? Or maybe more. Liberty Bell, like alerts, right? Matches. Surrender. America First. Now, America First is something President Trump says all the time. That's a slogan of his, America First. Well, when he's been saying that, he's saying Liberty Bell. He's saying surrender. He's saying United States is going to surrender. He's giving us codes. I mean, this is amazing. It equals San Antonio. And I did that's where the Alamo is. And I did that whole video about the Alamo. It's in the title. So you can look back not too far and you'll see that. And I'm wondering about, will something big happen? The day, because the emoji for date or day, or calendar or whatever, when you do that, the emoji, it used to always say July 17th, and it was red and white. And then off and on, it changed to blue and white, and it says February 24th. Well, that was the day after the attack on the Alamo. Day after the attack. So what happens? Do we surrender the day after we're pretend attacked? It looks like, and then the Biden, our guy, the Biden, who's our guy, says, "Yep, we give up. This is too much. And then it looks like troops are coming in. People are gonna freak out, man. I mean, jeepers." Okay, the nation. So remember, he said, "I'm addressing the nation." It equals golden ticket. You got more stuff about the super, like a game, ticket, end of the road, aftershock, Pentagon, podium, captions, like, the news, it has that crawl. It's called a crawl going under it. This happened and that happened. So many are missing. It would be like September 11th, kind of, Might be worse. Look worse. Let's see. Kill shot. I said on the clock, right? Stay home. Fox News. I can't breathe matches. So we're back to the chemical stuff again. Nuclear bomb, which they're all gone anyway, but anyway, it doesn't, I think they're really gone. But other people will say, oh yeah, well that's what happens, you know, oh, they're going to do it over a city, there's going to be an EMP or something. Snuff film, and then do nothing. Bank of England. Do nothing is like, the phrase is from Do Nothing Congress, really, but do nothing means no, nothing's really going to happen. They want me off the ballot. Well, they want me is sweating bullets, and sorry, I'm having a hard time. It equals an entire different world. It doesn't say entirely, it just says an entire different world. Okay, they want me, and simple is 134. It's FIFA World Cup. That's English football. Yeah. So it's another football term. You know, we have different football, but it's still a football term. It's game over, and crisis actor. They want me equals crisis actor. Solar eclipse matches bullet train, faith over fear, Kennedy's magic wand. It's too much. Off the ballot, they want me, and then off the ballot, that's how the phrases work. In Jewish, it's 368. It equals generator. Like, you know, no power. I don't know if that's going to be then or later. I don't know. Who knows? Heads up, and then fallen 4 times. It matches the word fallen written 4 times. Like out of the stands, or the country has fallen. I don't know. It equals San Francisco in simple. And then he said in the text, President Trump said, but you won't let that happen. But you won't is booms en route tomorrow. No, I'm not saying tomorrow. Well, yeah, now, here I am Saturday. So yeah, I would say tomorrow, but that's not the day I got it. All I want is you singing, you know, and everybody sings at the game, sings the national anthem. Showdown, and I think it like that's like a show to me. Showdown could mean like the halftime show stops. And Usher is, I've got more on Usher too somewhere here. Usher is singing during halftime, and I think he's ushering in the Great Awakening. That's the way I'm looking at Usher. Let's see, I'm just going to pick out some of these things because I'm taking way too long. And I won't even read the phrases that it's matching, but because it's kind of long. Cash of the future, precious metals, New York State. So we have New York in there. We had Chicago a little bit ago. Backed by gold. Sleeper agents, like actors in among the people. And I think they've put sleeper agents in for years and years and years. Like people that go, yeah, I know that person. He's my neighbor. He gave me a ride to work one day, and da 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 da. And then they find out, oh, well, they were at the stadium and they died. And what in the heaven's name? And I knew that person. I've known him for like 15 years. They probably did know him 15 years. But that's still an actor. I swear that's what's going on. I do. Let's see. Okay, so it said let that happen. It equals central casting. You know, he's always saying at rallies, oh yeah, Tom Holman, central casting. Look at him. And he's central casting all the time. Financial crisis, eye in the sky, and like the blimp is usually over the stadiums for these big games. Eye in the sky, and they'll probably be filming down. You know, the blimp films down at the stadium. You get those great shots of the stadium. And the other thing, oh my gosh, you guys, you know how our phrase, I don't want anybody to hear me here, when the shit hits the fan? I was talking to Lisa D, my friend that does videos with me. Like I called her this afternoon, it just hit me. We're talking about fans at the stadium or wherever. They're fans. And why? Where did we come up with the term fans? I think she said that. Like, why do you call people that are watching a game fans? Where did that come from and why? The white hats that's out there. I swear they've got these phrases out there that all mean different stuff. So when the shit hits the fan, the fans in the stadium. The dam is breaking, like maybe Boulder Dam. It looks like, and there'll be all this dramatic footage that they've produced and stuff. I don't know. Just amazing. It also equals the fake, it's all bullshit equals, the apocalypse equals, life insurance equals, it equals, United Nation, it matches everything that all these phrases. An inside job, praying matches. Praying along with fasting is a match. Because he said my response near the end of this. And so that equals praying, fasting. And that's what President Lincoln called people to do when things weren't going well in the Civil War. And then we won at Gettysburg after he called for a day of prayer and fasting. And that's what's going to happen again at some point. My response equals, take me out to the ball game. It equals that. It equals that. Excuse me. My response in simple, that was Jewish, gematria, equals end of the world. This is a test. Not long now, camera operator, Sweet Caroline, and at the FIFA football games, now I don't think they really do it at our games, but at FIFA over in England and all around, they sing Sweet Caroline. So, that's the song we usually sing in baseball stadiums. And the Boston Red Sox, they're the ones that started it, which I think the White Hats started it. But they can have their legends if they want. But I think the White Hats started all this with Sweet Caroline. Japan earthquake, impound city. Like maybe they'll put up barriers and say you can't go in and out of this city. And Nicholas Cruz matches my response. And Nicholas Cruz was the supposed guy that, did that at a Parkland, Florida high school. 17 wounded and 17 gone, right? Parkland, that was the name of the hospital that President Kennedy died in. I think that whole Nicholas Cruz thing was another white hat thing to get people to wake up. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. Let's see. They want me, and then he said locked up. That equals photobomb, San Andreas, like the San Andreas Fault out in California. It equals Seattle chief. Now they didn't say chiefs, but anyway, Seattle chief. That, to me, that's just a reference to Seattle in the context I'm reading. Locked up. So how many times has he said locked up lately? Especially in my texts that I get. I'm sure he's been doing on Truth Social, although I haven't looked there lately, but he's saying they want to lock me up. He'll say it in rallies over and over again. And locked up equals stadium. It's 87 simple. It's stadium. It equals locked up equals fall down, like people. It equals fallout, started, I have a dream. It equals collapsed and horrible. They want me completely erased. Maybe the cities look like they're poof, I don't know, but that could be something that happens later, when everybody's on lockdown. Another reason that word got put out there, that word, lockdown. Well, everybody got nice and used to that, right? Now, oh yeah, we're gonna be locked down. This is not safe anymore. We're gonna be locked down. Okay, completely erased equals game over. Emergency broadcast matches completely erased. I am general of the army matches, and it equals the clock is ticking. How much more clear can we get? Let's see. Here to guide you, and pull the trigger, and then it also equals around the world. So I don't know, maybe it'll be all over the place. These things, these whatever they're planning, maybe it's everywhere. Let's see. Yeah, I will never surrender, and that equals the event is coming. Please tell me this is a joke. It is a joke. It's a bad joke, but it's a joke because it's gonna get people to finally pay attention. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to show what was planned for us, only worse. They planned much, much worse. They wanted all the bloodline of anything, the bloodline gone, just gone. And they only wanted themselves around with maybe a handful to take care of them. Oh, here's my beer festival decode. I mean, I have pages on this beer festival. They don't want us having beer or anything or liquor, nothing. They don't. They had a picture in here, like a 2-page photo in there. And you take lots of photos when you're doing like a layout like that, and that they wouldn't take anything that wasn't very flattering. They would try to make it look like it's fun and upbeat and all that stuff. Well, they have most of it, you can't see anybody's face, even though there's lots of people there. They're all in jackets, but you can't see their face except for one woman near the front, and she's making a face like yuck. I mean, it is so obvious. So let's see. So Caleb Jagoda, who wrote this article in my magazine about the beer festival, equals Jenny. And I think Diana and Jackie play Jenny, because depending on who they're sitting with, like I know one time I talked to Juan with Tom, and it was before the show came on, and Juan, who I think is normally, or usually I should say, Diana, but then Jennifer Mack was sitting next to him. So then at that moment, Jennifer Mack would have been, and they showed us, before the interview started. And so next to him was, like I said, here I am saying, okay, so I'm talking over myself and not making sense. Sorry. So that meant Jennifer Mack must have been Jackie Kennedy. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, and they made these funny poses, the two guys in the article. I don't know, they had their arms like this and their legs spread apart, and the caption of the photo said they were doing a T pose. Well, I was like, well, what is a T pose? And it says for computer graphics, or I should say animation, they get people to do all these different poses, and then it sounds like what they do is they fill in between and make them do different things, animating. And then they say in there that there are T poses, A's and Y's, like you make those letters. And let's see, a T pose, so I just did T, and it equals nowhere to be found. End of the day, I want a Juan phrase, which I really think it was Diana, and Diana is Juan usually. Let's see, decode act of God, so that was fun. And in the article, when they were talking about the silly T pose that they were both doing, he and his friend, they put it in parentheses with a wide base. A quotation and parentheses with a wide base. In other words, a T pose is normally your feet are together your hands are out like straight. Well, they had their feet apart, so it wasn't really a T-pose if you're going by the definition. With a wide base. Well, with a wide base is also like, you can read it like, it's someone who people follow and love with a wide base, like a base of supporters or followers with a wide base. And with a wide base of gematria and simple is John Kennedy. So that's why it was really in there with a wide base. It's too much fun, you guys. Let's see. So this is a literal quote from this Caleb Jagoda near the beginning of the article. He says, "Why fight the current? No use in battling inexorable forces like tsunamis, the fake ones that will come." And then someone says, "No, no." Well, that's Diana. Diana is 29, and that's no or on, you know. And then calm down. Learn to enjoy losing, like America losing, right? Learn to enjoy losing. Whether we were losing or not, I'm still not quite sure. In other words, we're not losing really, but it would look like it. The vibrations, however, were far from normal. Wondering, you know, like I'm always wondering when the earthquakes are going to happen. Are there going to be earthquakes all over the United States during the Super Bowl? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. So it's the Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers. So I went off the article and I went phasing in and out of Super Bowl back to the article. You know, that's just the way I did it. So Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers. And let's see, simple gematria is 213 for Chiefs 49ers. I just did it that way. It equals major events to come. Monday Night Football matches. Is everybody dead yet? Looks suspicious. And it equals kid by the side of the road. Juan's book. The makings of a perfect day. Oh my gosh. That could be what they were kind of referring to, the makings of a perfect day. I mean, I know you can look at it many ways, but is that the day that begins everything? This, you know, Chiefs 49ers battle. In Jewish gematria equals globe alarm systems and rebuild 3 times. The word rebuild 3 times. And it equals, in simple, Diana, Princess of Wales. So Diana, Princess of Wales matches Kid by the Side of the Road because she's, as far as I can tell, is almost always Juan. With these long rubber glove things on, and that's why the fingers look so funny, you know, when they don't move quite right. So when you take the gloves off, that's another phrase, right? You know, we have when the shit hits the fan, the literal fan or fans. And then you got when you take the gloves come off. When the gloves come off, you find out who's been in there playing Juan. It's just amazing. Anyway, so I did the name of the beer festival, Beverage Craft Beer Fest, and that's 222, simple, and it equals. Let's see. Wait. John F. Kennedy, Jr., not dead. And it equals, in Jewish gematria, 1317. I am ready to play the game, like the football game. Operation High Jump could be referring to people looking like they're diving off the thing, like either SHOT or from fake chemical stuff or earthquake making them fall off. I don't know. Fascinating. Let's see. And that in Jewish, it's also even more exciting than Operation High Jump. It matches Joseph Kennedy. You know, Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr. I'm always talking to you about. And it equals the world is a stage, decode, dollar crash, and then we have Texas surrender and land all together. Texas surrender and land. And to me, that's Alamo comms, which, like I said, began on February 23rd. Um, let's see. Oh, yeah. So he said, this is another. I'm back to another fundraising text. There were so many. There's so many. We this is a message from, and of course it was Donald Trump, but he had that all in, I think it was like in red, and it was all caps, so it's like really, really bold and jumping out. And it equals simple gematria 206, and it equals waiting for Sunday. Waiting for Sunday. Oh my gosh, the Super Bowl's this tomorrow on Sunday. It equals simultaneously. So, okay, waiting for Sunday and then simultaneously. Can you put in comments what you think might happen? Please, just give me some of your feedback after hearing all this stuff. What your thoughts are. So simultaneously, does that mean X, Y, and Z happens at the same time in other cities? Yeah. This is a message from, in Jewish gematria 701, it equals the Day of the Dead, Deutsche Bank, which is the central bank of Germany. And I've always heard when Deutsche Bank falls, it all falls. I mean, the public part, I think it's already fallen long ago, but anyway. And Tom says that there's one of the Batman movies, I don't know which one, and I think I have something about it in here in a gematria, but he said one of the movies, it shows like a big stadium, I don't know if it's a football stadium or what, and it looks like it's melting away. He put it on his Twitter, so you can look back on his Twitter a couple of days and you can see it. He took a screenshot of it. President Trump said in the text, this one, I'll let you be the judge. Literally, he's going to let John F. Kennedy Jr. be the judge. It matches John F. Kennedy Jr. And here it is, A Dark Night to Remember. Here, I was just talking about it, and here it is. A Dark Night, but with a K. Dark Night to Remember. And that's the Batman movie that's like, oh, it is a football game. So I wasn't sure if it was a football stadium, but I have it written here. Football equals the stock market crash, scare event upon us, matrix simulation, liquid explosives. And then we have in Jewish 1760, kill all New Yorkers, change your life forever. Are you, letter R in the letter U, ready now, or ready now, are you? And I'm Mrs. Handy, are you? So I got a kick out of that. I need to hear from you, he said next. It equals simple 217, fireworks tonight. Something big is coming. It equals New England Patriots, my football team, some more football. Buckle up, Buttercup. 3 days of darkness. I don't know, 3 days of darkness or what. Brings destruction, psychological warfare, mass injection event. Is that like, looks like a virus and the super spreading at the stadium? It all makes sense now. He talked about President Trump's strongest supporters. It equals nothing will happen. And the biggest one I could even tell you about out of this whole thing matches strongest supporters. It equals simple 304, and that's continuity of government. What do you think? This is intense, you guys. This is intense. I don't know. I mean, I have so many things. I have so many things to tell you. Yeah, I think we'll just do a little bit more and then I'm going to call it good. And I was going to do all these other videos and upload them like another day or two, you know, all this stuff. But I've got a feeling that if I'm right, like, let's pretend, as I like to say, then all of this stuff would be pretty much irrelevant, right? This stuff would be pretty much irrelevant. Like, who cares? You know, I think we'd be really distracted. and it wouldn't matter or whatever. Yeah. So in the article, one of the first things in the article, besides that little bit I had already read, they said about an hour had passed. We're talking about the beer festival, and he's writing this about the beer festival. About an hour had passed since the kickoff. The kickoff of, and then he said, which goes down the first Saturday of February. A good time? Absolutely. The vibrations, however, earthquake, were far from normal. And then he said something about 20 below the temperature, because the year before, so this was, it's a little confusing, but 2 years before this, there was, it was really cold. It was like 20 below. That's why we're talking about it. And they had to reschedule the beer festival to Sunday. So it was usually on a Saturday, but then they're making a big point that it was rescheduled to a Sunday. So we've got all the football stuff. We've got Sunday popping up. This is just amazing. So 20 below in Jewish gematria is 2522, and it equals alcohol abuse while pregnant is intent to harm, and then the word grimace. Okay? Do you think they want people drinking? No. No. Let's see. Here's just some little short phrases or words that were from the article here and there. Set up, like they're setting it up. Dishing it out, dish out, dishing out. Slip slide, like falling. Let's see. This year, things were a little different. Like this wouldn't be a normal year for the game to me. So the organizer was a woman named Lisa Beveridge, right? Beveridge. Lisa, I think, was for my friend Lisa D. I really do. I told her that, and she was really excited. And Lisa Beveridge equals Grand Master Plan. And, Grand Master Plan, Collapse America. That it's all together. And then right after they mentioned Lisa Beveridge, they did the 20 below, Lisa Beveridge, and then 40 below. It's 141, and that's me. Mrs. Handy, are you? So I felt like they were calling out Lisa and me, so that maybe not, but that's how I felt. You know, I was excited. It equals plutonium, 141, and surrenders and final moments. And then in the article, I'm going back to the article again, all but a mirage, like fake. And then here we go on the day that they changed it a couple years ago. 2022, a nor'easter blew through. Beveridge pushed the event a day later to Sunday. So Super Bowl 58 is this Sunday, tomorrow. So this will probably go up pretty late. It's already late, so maybe I'll put it up Sunday morning. I don't know. Booking hotels way in advance, and Super Bowl fans do that. They book hotels way in advance. Looming, unexpected weather, wreaking havoc, and then ushered. Like, remember, Usher is playing at the Super Bowl halftime. And then I decoded an article about Usher. Oh, it's so confusing. It's not confusing, it's just a lot. And he says, I got to do it in 13 minutes. This is a quote from Usher about his performance at halftime. I got to do it in 13 minutes. Well, I got to do it equals, because I'm doing phrases, equals brace for impact, bullet hole, channeling the radio, like getting the alerts. Children of Israel, they could blame Hamas because of all the silly pretend stuff that's going on. Chain reaction matches and quarantine matches. So it's going like into all kinds of directions with things that could happen. 13 minutes, like I got to do it in 13 minutes. Well, 13 minutes and simple is 200. And it's prepare yourself. 10 days of darkness. I don't know if that's now or in the future. Fallen 4 times, I already did that. And ready for departure, like put little X's on people's eyes and they'll be down on the ground. And okay, back in the magazine, they mentioned set up, and then fire, truck, parking lot, circulate through the venue, like maybe, fake chemical stuff or the new disease, circulate through the venue. Vastly different experience from years past, like I said before, sorry. Waiting in the Porta John line, I like that one because they said John. The beer will freeze, because they were supposed to be outside on the lake, Lake Winnipesaukee, with all these vendors out there showing their craft beers from all over the state. The beer will freeze. To me, that means freezing it, no alcohol. Super spreader event. Oh, that's where it was from. I couldn't remember what article I had heard super spreader event, but that's what they were calling. So I thought they were talking, when I remembered, I thought they were talking about calling the Super Bowl a possible super spreader event, but they're calling the beer festival, because it's so crowded, a super spreader event. But they're also double talking about the Super Bowl, so whatever. Intimate bonding, close quarters. Quarters are in a football game, right? They have 4 quarters. Brought a whole lot together, which is exactly what we signed up for. Like what we're supposed to do while we're here in this lifetime. We signed up for that. We agreed with God that, we're going to go through this, even if we don't like it. Because we probably didn't even realize how yucky it would be when we said we'd do it. A top, and then mountain, like earthquake. Or they even mentioned orange jumpsuits. They're not talking about Gitmo in this article, but they mentioned orange jumpsuits. Alyssa, nickname Beans Doust, D-O-U-S-T. There's a lot of S's in this one. And her name in simple in 197. You guys, I already talked about this. I'm just getting tired. It's 187. It equals when shit hits the fan. Now, there's no S on that, but it's really darn close. So her whole name equals that. And reveal hidden identity. I'm sure that was, who knows who that one was. I didn't try to go too far into her name to figure out who was playing this photographer woman. But it equals volcanic eruption in Los Angeles, California. That name. Let's see. They kept mentioning black, and then like the black beer and jet black beer, and to me that means like night. And then they mention midnight wheat, and the body of, and then they go Joe's favorite, because Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr. is JFK Jr. Midnight wheat. So we're talking about the eclipse stuff. They said a wild frenzy, a reality starts to slip away. This is not a very positive article about the Bear Festival, although I'm not saying it was bad or anything, but I think what they're trying to say is we don't want you guys drinking. Mass of bodies, like at that stadium or maybe in a city, it looks like they've been wiped out. Massive bodies, encroaching storm. This is the article about the beer festival. Massive bodies, encroaching storm, louder, unrelenting, heightened the experience. Height, falling from heights, heightened the experience. I liken it to a horse tranquilizer, stabbed in the jugular. He's talking about the beer fest. A horse tranquilizer stabbed in the jugular, rendering everything stranger, harsher, more intense, more unsettling. The human wormhole, like time travel, and then another phrase, eye of the storm and startling. I mean, this is getting intense. Be a nightmare, the event, and then he said swelling mass of bodies. You know, if they're dead, they're swelling, and it's really awful. Swelling mass of bodies. And then he said sandwiched against Joe, Alyssa, and a random guy. Oh, and in the beginning of the article, he had also said pressed against me, chest to chest. And Juan, on that episode I told you about with Tom Numbers on Psych Club, he was explaining that in Roman times, when a murderer would be caught, they would tie him up and chain him up to, the murderer would be chained up to his victim. And there would be maggots and everything, and smell and disease and everything. And then eventually that person would die, and they're face to face with that person. Juan brought that up because of this. I know he did. Sandwiched against Joe, and then pressed, I lost my place, pressed against me chest to chest. I mean, that's just exactly what you told us about. Anyway, and the pigs, he said negative things about pigs, like pigs being herded. One happy pig, he said, because we won't be eating meat. I just know it. He said sucked us in, talking about the crowd, kind of sucked them in, and then they whirled around, and then the crowd spit them out over here. Well, that's the beast thing that I'm always telling you about, that there will be a horrible beast in the water, and that these guys, at least the 4 witnesses to me, will be like President Kennedy Jr., JFK Jr., Diana and Jackie Kennedy. That's the 4 witnesses, not 2 as in Revelation 11. They always say there's 2 witnesses, that they get killed by the beast. They come back after 3.5 days, and everybody's shocked and they don't know what to do. And but I think there's 4 witnesses, because it's these guys. And anyway, that's what they're talking about. Sucked us in, whirled us around, and spit us back out. That's what they're talking about. And then he said tenets of journalism. And Tenet is that movie that Tom talks about a lot, by Christopher Nolan, and a white hat director. And if ever there was one, I mean, all the movies he has done are commie. I don't mean communist, but full of comms. And the plot is, let's see, I'm going to read it. It's about a secret organization tracing the origin of objects that are traveling backward through time, and their connection to an attack from the future to the present. So that's like a war thing. So, you know, he brings up Tenet in here even. And he says, expect more, run. He brings up a cave light porter, you know, but cave is in there like tunnels. Negative 20-degree weather. And I might have been wrong about negative 48. I used to follow him and talk to him, and then after a while I didn't, because of some stuff that happened. And I put a big video out, and I was like, I don't like him. I think he's not legitimate, and blah, blah, blah. Like anybody cares what I think. But anyway, and I didn't talk about him afterwards. I didn't say anything about him afterwards, but I don't know. I just wonder, because 4VKM put out a video about him, and I'm like, I know 4VKM is legitimate. I just know it. And had a whole episode about negative 48. So he said, I know some people don't like him and some do. And that's how that was surprising to me that he put that out, or she, Diana, put that out there. They mentioned Dover, which is the town I go to all the time. It's like 5 minutes from me. And he said it was a pig pen of Bacchanalia, this beer festival, which is not very flattering. Bacchus, wow. There's bad stuff happened in those things back in the olden days. He said weather threatening inside, but threatening inside things seems like in the stadium. Wasn't a normal day. I don't think we'll have nights anymore at some point. I think it's going to be all daytime. That's just one of my weird theories that I've come up with. I don't get all these theories from other people. You do know that, right? I didn't get this Super Bowl stuff from anybody. This is all from my coding. The beast thing is all from me. Like, I know it's weird, but the day was in chaos. Loosened our ties. Agents of chaos. This is still about the beer festival. Yeah, I think they're going to be tied up when they meet the beast, and I think they're going to be knocked off a boat, or they'll be pushed off, like walking the plank maybe, or something like that, when the witnesses have to be chewed out and spit out, and then they come back. Never see me again. Let's see. He said, keep the brewery reps on their toes. Our outtakes included, like outtakes of a movie or a TV show. Never see me again. How's your relationship with your father? This was right after. How's it? They're talking about God. And then they literally say, how's your relationship with God? So they have it in their two different ways. Becoming overwhelmed. First targets. He said New Hampshire and Massachusetts. He said Chelsea. And we have one in our family, but it's also a city right on the edge of Boston. Like, you cross the river and, you know, on a bridge, and you're right there. You're at Chelsea. So Chelsea's across from Boston. And anyway, I think it's a reference to Boston, you know, to me. But it also could be a reference to my family. I'm not sure, because they mentioned Massachusetts and then New Hampshire. Let's see. He said like-minded cabal. Cabal, I mean, he said, I'd say 23, and then kung fu kicks all around. Just grab 2 and use them as weapons and keep going. The couple also enlightened us storied history, and I think that's when the two couples sit down in that room, the fireside chat, and the women will have veils on. That's one of my weird theories. And Janine said that part she had gotten definite yeses on, so that was really cool. And that President Kennedy was, at least President Kennedy, I think both of them were under, they were automatons, or whatever you want to call it, mannequins that got pulled out from under the raised rear seat of the Lincoln limo on in Dallas, and they moved a little bit, but their eyes were fixed, and they didn't look right. If you go back and look at any of the footage from near the end of, you know, where they're moving, it doesn't look right. So that wasn't them. So he wasn't shot, you know that. And he said, and then we get re-energized, rich, and owner, and that, to me, that was like us. We'll be re-energized. Well, our DNA will go boom, you know, go through the roof, and it will be all activated after the beast event. I think that's what's going to happen. That's just me, and I think we're the med beds. I've already talked about that. He said hoppy, like, you know, hoppy beers, and Jack Double American Brown Ale. Jack Double. John and John. Jack is a nickname for John. So we've got 2 Johns. So instead of saying John, think of him as 2 Johns. And Junior said he never liked that nickname. So I think when you see John and Gematria, it's a reference to the 2 Johns. Sensory overload, overstimulation, different personalities. The time had come. Zipped coats, gloves, outside into the frozen tundra. Like, do everybody run for fallout shelters? I wonder about that. Oh, and then there was a photo of, big photo in the article, and it showed black gloves, okay? I think black is Diana, too. And equals. Anyway, the gloves. And it made me, remember I told you about the gloves that she wears? And I think Jackie has done it as well. See the gloves come off. Said wilder inside and party vibe. That's like at the Super Bowl before anything would happen. and chanting, shouting, ward off. It actually worked. And to me, that's like when you're praying, right? I mean, chanting is, it's a weird way to put it, but you know, chanting, shouting, and ward off. Like it could be, it looks like the comet on April 8th. During the eclipse, we're having a comet. I think everything's manipulated though, somehow. Don't ask me how. I mean, the alliance, I guess. And the comet is going to come and it's going to look like it's got two mountains sticking out on either side like horns. Like horns. Maybe that's the beast. No, that can't be. That doesn't make sense. I think the beast is like a slimy, yucky thing. Yeah. And in the water, you know, because like a lot of water references around all this beast stuff. So anyway, it's got two, this is what I hear from Mr. MBB333, who is Diana. And Carrie Cassidy, I'm going to do a video with Lisa about Carrie Cassidy. And Carrie Cassidy even said that time travel isn't what we think, which I'm sure it's not, and that people can be in many places at the same time. And that's the only way that all these things likely are possible. That I'm always saying, and they play this person, and they're that person, and they're the other one. So from her intel that she has, and she's Diana, as far as I know, unless we do more research and I find out she's not, I'm going to do a lot of research on Carrie. But anyway, yeah, so that's how it would work. They can be in all these different places at one time. And then something about before our engines petered out. So I think that they could just make everything stop. Just stop. You know, cars, everything. 3 hours nonstop. And then trick. And then boarding. They're talking about going on the shuttle bus. I already talked to you about Phil, you know, in the Punxsutawney Phil reference and Phil Godlewski reference. But boarding and then a shuttle bus. It became apparent, riding high, we were greeted, and then exclaiming, I didn't write that part down, but so boarding, high, think about a plane, boarding, high, we were greeted, you know how they greet you going on the plane, and then exclaiming, like yelling. I've been saying for a long time now, I think it's going to look like, they'll make it look like, you know, through movie creativity and film, the planes are just falling out of the sky, and people are gonna freak out. But so and so is on the plane, you know, and they won't be on a plane. Listening back to the tape, like the movies about the catastrophes, but that's from the article. Listening back to the tape, and then sun setting, and then wave. I already told you about Phil and the bus driver, but then they say shotgun burst. I told you, what do you call a guy with no arms and no legs, and you throw him back in a hole? It's Phil. I screamed my lungs out, dead of winter, dead, days short. And Jackie's the short one of the twins, and then he said night long, and I was thinking, and Diana's the tall one. And then this is the end of the article. Finally, you're probably sick of this article. Anyway, sink into and then rally behind, like a Trump rally. Reason to leave the house, like running off to get shelter or someplace, you know, like a fallout thing maybe. Local community. I can get behind that. He's talking about going out to support local business. And the community, because this is a little small town, small things, the local, you know, microbreweries. And I can get behind that. Well, the people hide and take cover. We'll find out if I'm right? I mean, I'm going on a big fat limb, wondering what in heaven's name is going on. And I'm not gonna do all that. I just can't go into any more. You guys. I hope I didn't like drive you crazy, because it was really disjointed, I admit, but like all over the map. But just remember, The puppy bowl is going to, the Super Bowl is going to look like a puppy bowl. Right there. February 11th. Can't get any more clear than that to me. Anyway. If somebody knows where else to look for the Q post, I would love if somebody put it in the comments down below, because I feel so silly I can't find them. I mean, I know a long time ago qmaps.pub was gone, but qpost.online, it's just frustrating, you know, but I suppose they could have done it on purpose, just so that we don't rely on it and we do everything on our own, because there's enough to code out there. We don't really need to, honestly don't. I just wanted to verify that I had the full quote, and all I got was half of it, the Q post, but anyway. We'll find out. We'll find out what's going on, and see, I don't know. I wanted to show you something pretty. Only people who really care about watching the videos is still on, so I don't feel too weird showing you. Look at these pretty tulips. See my pretty tulips? It'll make you happy. Even though tomorrow might be like, things would never be the same again if I'm right, you know, but let's just pretend. I don't know. So, I love you guys. Love you guys. I'm so wound up. I don't know. I'm tired. I can't talk. And I don't know how I'm going to sleep. I don't know. And I'm not going to monetize my videos anymore. So I'm not going to have any commercials come on. And if you guys want to mail something in, I usually try to remember to put my post office box if you want to mail me a check or do something like that. I have other ways you can donate to, but I won't go into it. And I just thought more people will watch if I don't have commercials up there. And you know, I really like to get the word out, you know, so maybe people will watch a little longer if there's no commercials. So anyway, we'll see if that helps. Get the, you know, maybe you could share the video with as many people as you can, different platforms, and make sure you like it, you know, that helps when more people hit the like button too. That promotes the video more, but you know that. And comments actually helps too. Just making a comment actually helps. And I read the comments and I answer them usually if I can. So, you know, I try to be a good YouTuber, and I love you guys. You're like family, you know. You guys helped me through a really difficult time with Mr. Handy, and I'll never forget that. That was just so special. And I came out doing really good after a short period of time. I mean, I know that you guys helped me in prayer. Everybody, all that helped me. So your support meant the world. Anyway, love you, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Okay? Take care. Bye.